Two of the Navy's 3 wells, which supply drinking water for military and civilian families, have now tested positive for petroleum contaminants. The Navy shut down its Red Hill well last week after hundreds complained about fuel smells. Many also got sick, with some having to go to the hospital. The Red Hill well is located near the massive Red Hill underground storage facility, which has a history of leaks.
Water, water, and more water. We are going to continue to talk about contaminated water and the failure of government to ensure that everybody has clean drinking water. And it is government, all levels, local, regional, state, and federal, all have a responsibility to ensure collectively that we have clean water. You know, government is designed for us to do collectively what we cannot do as individuals, and no individual can be responsible for clean water. It is a function of the government. So in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, military families are finally suing the Navy for contaminating their water with petroleum. This started in 2021. A big shout out to Anna and the main show for covering this. Now the new development is some of the families, the military families, have filed a lawsuit, and good on them. But they shouldn't have to file a lawsuit. This is yet another example of the crisis that we face in this country, and it is at the hands of all levels of government, complicit. And here we are, the United States Navy. Let's go deeper.
State Senator Kurt Favela says state lawmakers should investigate how the Navy mishandled the Red Hill contamination. He added that a criminal investigation also may be warranted.
Whoever has a part in this should be accountable for negligence, and definitely hold criminal prosecution against them.
So this situation is back in the news, and rightfully so. We see everything that's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. Here we have near Pearl Harbor. These 4 families have filed a lawsuit, although some 6,000 people were poisoned and had to leave the area because of the poisoning. 21st century, and people in this country cannot be guaranteed clean water. And it doesn't matter what level of government. Here we have the Navy being complicit. It should make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. As the families describe some of the things that they're going through, from chronic pain, abdomen pain, loss of hair, feeling blank when they wake up in the morning, all types of ailments. Even one lady is getting her family ready for when she passes away, getting them to plan already because of this situation. It is untenable. It is unacceptable that anything like this can happen anywhere in the United States of America, but at the hands of the government? Really? Yeah, really. I shouldn't be surprised at that. I mean, don't get me started about what happened to generations of black folks at the hands of the government. So let me just focus. I don't want to act too surprised about this. However, there's a part of me that wants to be, because we should be getting better. We should be making progress in this nation and not regressing. And here we have the Navy who contaminated the water with petroleum. And now families will suffer for the rest of their lives because of this. According to reporting from NBC News, the Navy finally acknowledged the leak. At first they didn't want to acknowledge it, but the sources of the leak, the Navy concluded, was the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility, a massive World War II era tank farm located in the hills above Pearl Harbor. From there, the fuel seeped into the well that supplied water to housing and offices in and around the sprawling area. Infrastructure, we need more and more and more and more and more investment into infrastructure. Water infrastructure, we can't pinch pennies for that. All across this country, we have neglected to make the requisite investments, and here we are. And this is not just some oops, one of those things, because people's lives will be forever changed because of somebody's negligence. Like, may never ever be the way they were before this happened. This is bigger than oops. Somebody need their behind held accountable. I was going to say something else. You know what I was about to say. But just this indifference towards the suffering of other people is driving me mad. And the government, particularly the federal government, must be held accountable and can do better. Listen, family and friends, brothers and sisters. We cannot compromise. We cannot cut corners when it comes to making a demand about clean air, clean water, clean food. I'm only talking about the basics. We're not even talking about dreaming big at this point. So glad that these 4 families are suing, and I hope that they win. And I hope the 6,000 other people involved in this poisoning jumps into this as well. There must be a consequence for this kind of negligence that changes people's lives forever. Forever, ever, ever. Yeah, that kind of change. And for those of us who are old enough to remember that a bipartisan infrastructure bill just passed earlier this year, it's inadequate. It is inadequate to deal with the needs in this country. Inadequate. Something passed, hooray, but it is inadequate. We need to focus on, go all the way in on the social contract. And you're going to hear me talk about social contract a lot. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Economic, political, social, environmental, racial, social contract. So clean water, clean food, clean air, education for all, healthcare for all, safe communities for all, housing, a healthy environment, a livable planet, the eradication of racism, going ham on white supremacy and the patriarchy. That's the kind of social contract that I'm talking about. Legalizing cannabis. I'm leaving a whole bunch of stuff out, but you get where I'm going. The things that I have just enumerated are not new. Generations before us were fighting for some of these similar things to happen. Policies that change material conditions in a very deep and generational way. That's what we talked about. And we can't accept anything less. So we at TYT are going to continue to remind you what is happening and what we can do to change things. We do not have to accept things as they are. We understand them, but we can fight for a world as it should be, starting with having some goddamn clean water. Hello, somebody? Hello.